You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Welcome to the E3 coverage special of 808s and Joysticks. In this show, we will be discussing Square Enix E3 2019. I'm Tairell, and joining me today for this special, as always, is Tom.
Yeah, so if you like Final Fantasy, stick around, because there was a lot of Final Fantasy stuff in this Square conference. They started off basically with what we can only say as a very, very long, drawn-out Final Fantasy VII Remake section. It lasted for about 15 or 20 minutes, and while it was good, we've seen a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stage presence that wasn't needed there. Like, I understand that the game looks good, really good. And they have, 2 Blu-ray discs worth of content to ship next year on March 3rd when it comes out. But I don't feel like they needed to go that much in detail about it at this event.
Wait, hold on. I'm just knowing as well, this is only the first part of the remake project, and this was shipped on 2 Blu-ray discs. What do you mean this is part 1? I'm not buying 2 parts of this game, you know.
What do you mean 2 parts? There's going to be at least 4.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. How long is this game going to be, and why would they do this? Why would they release it in so many parts? I seen how much it was. It was a full game price. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so basically, when they were discussing stuff on stage, they were saying that they've actually, you've seen it as well, but they discussed a bit more about how they've gone further into the world than they could have done before in the actual original Final Fantasy VII. So it looks like they've started to explore more of the world, hence why there's more content and stuff like that. They've really built the world out. So it looks like it's going to be a much longer game than the original one. But for fans that loved Final Fantasy VII, it's like it's basically like the Holy Grail. It is the best thing that could happen if you're a massive fan of that series.
I'm just really afraid that this is just giving Square like the chance to just take the piss and like milk the series. Like, they've already been taking so long to make this game already, and now it's gonna be released in 2 different parts, like it's a film or something. Like, I just don't really understand why they couldn't just bring the 2 games together. Like, the first Final Fantasy used to be on 2 discs, and that was unprecedented for the time. And that used to have the full game on there. I just don't understand why it's been so many years and we can't have the entire game being shipped. I don't think a person should have to buy the game twice, like in 2 different parts, and then have the definitive game after that as well. It just doesn't really make sense. It's an old game. Like, you don't need to expand it to the point where you need to now release it on several discs. Like, I just don't think that's really fair on the consumer. And if it's not necessary to do that as well, like, you know, I know they're trying to expand the universe, but it isn't necessary to expand the universe. They could have remade it just like how they said they were going to remake it, like a 1-for-1 remake in a new engine and a new battle system. But I guess, yes, for the ultimate Final Fantasy fan, this could be a good and a bad thing, because you're going to be potentially shelling out a lot of money, because I don't know how many parts this is going to have. And you'll be spending a lot of time playing this game as well if it's already on 2 Blu-ray discs. So that is a big game, and I can't even imagine what the updates and the installs and all sorts of stuff is going to be like on these kind of games. So we're going to be in for something wild, because Final Fantasy 15 takes a long time to install and update as it is. So I can't even imagine a game that's on 2 separate discs. That's only the first part of the game, out of an unknown amount of parts. I don't know. I just really don't know.
I must say though, like, again, the game does look beautiful. It's one of the best games
It
I've ever
does.
seen.
It really does. It does. It looks like one of the best remakes I've ever seen, to be honest.
Yeah, like it is. It's not a remaster. It's a remake, and it's an actual remake. Like this is remade to current gen, possibly even next gen standards, and you know they've put a lot of effort into it, and you can see that.
Yeah.
The only thing that people might not be happy with is the battle system, but I do feel like they've come to a good sort of middle ground with it.
I was going to say that, and not really, because even on Final Fantasy 15, you can still do the typical. I don't know what kind of system would you call that again, Tom? The one where you would stand and like basically just do attacks.
Turn-based system.
Turn-based. Yeah, sorry, that's the term. Sorry, totally went out of my head. Turn-based. You can still do turn-based on Final Fantasy 15 with wait mode, where you basically like you can analyze your battle surroundings and then you can do attacks based upon the stats that you've gained from focusing on an enemy. And that is exactly the same as that new tactical mode that they've introduced, which is blending real-time action with turn-based JRPG, like old features. So I thought that was really cool, and I like the fact that you can switch effortlessly between your party members. I thought that was really interesting and a nice way to show off the gameplay. A real nice reintroduction into like a classic game, with new gameplay elements. So I was quite blown away by the gameplay. When I seen them fighting the boss battle, I thought that was really nice how you could use two different styles of gameplay in order to defeat a powerful enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was quite a big fan of the new tactical system that they brought in. I like the fact that you have to build up your bar first before you can start using the actual tactical system to its advantage. So you can just play solely real-time action. You can play real-time action using the tactical system to your advantage, or you can pick how you really want to play. So you could use it now and again if you want to, or you could use it to all the time to actually give you the best abilities you can and make you feel like you've got that turn-based thing going on as well. Yeah, it really impressed me.
Yeah, it did. It was really, really, really impressive. Also, sorry, I've got a couple more clarifications on the actual remake itself. So, March the 3rd, 2020. And also, the entire remake will take up 2 entire Blu-ray discs, just like how the PlayStation 1 original took up 3 CDs. This means that it would take part in 2 parts, one within Midgar and one outside of it. So that will be the entire game. The entire game will be released within the 2 discs. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that isn't as bad. I thought it was being shipped in 2 separate games. I thought it was going to be you get this part first and then you get the second part. But no, if you get the Blu-ray edition and you pre-order it, you will get both discs that will include both parts of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is courtesy of CNET that said that, so don't kill me if it comes out that it isn't the full version of the game and I was wrong, but this is what CNET has said. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, looking forward to that. As I said, March 3rd, 2020. Finally have a release date. This has been 14 years in the making or something like that, like since 2006 E3. I think it's still a PlayStation exclusive by the looks of it as well, which is very interesting. So you can only play it on PlayStation. So if you haven't got a PlayStation, then sucks to be you. Yeah, moving on from that, really, we just have more Final Fantasy. I don't know if you've really ever played any of these games, Tom. The Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles?
No.
Yeah, neither have I really, but it is an action role-playing game originally released on the Nintendo GameCube, but is now coming to the PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch, and mobile devices all for the first time. So that's a really cool and very interesting, but seeing as that is a Nintendo exclusive from back in the day that was not released on anything else. So for it to be coming out on PlayStation 4 and the Switch and mobile is a really big thing. And it's also the remastered edition, seeing that the game looks a lot more gorgeous on these newer systems. Any thoughts about that?
Surprising it's not coming to Xbox is one of the things, because it's coming to mobile devices, Switch, PS4, but no Xbox or PC.
Well, see, that I thought that was interesting as well, but when you look at some of the titles that are being remastered, not a lot of them are coming to Xbox. Mm-hmm. A lot of things are coming to Switch or PlayStation, and I think that just really just goes to show, because Square is a Japanese company, that's really where their audience lies the most. It's still with these kind of titles, and the Asian market is an emerging market for mobile gaming, so it makes sense to put some of these classic titles onto the mobile devices, because that is where most people are playing their games these days. So, especially within Asian territories, anyway. Moving on from that as well, we got some really nice, exciting news about Octopath Traveler, which is now out on PC right now via Steam, which is insane, and I can't wait for it, and I'm definitely going to get it as soon as I get paid, because I really wanted this game when it first came out on Switch, and now it's actually finally out on PC. So this is just great for all round for JRPG lovers that want a nice looking game that is got critical acclaim and just looks really fun and great, and like a classic feel to a very, very modern looking title. What do you think about that as well? That was quite a surprise for me.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but when it came out, I sort of thought straight away that it's going to be coming to PC. I thought straight away you're going to be wanting to pick that up, like, without a doubt, because you were considering buying a Switch just for that game. So now it's coming to PC, you don't have to do that, you can just buy the game.
Exactly, like, I'm really happy that Square decided to release it outside of the Switch, which was just a shock, because I didn't think it was going to be released outside the Switch.
Yeah, you also get the ability to play on... Well, you can play it with your Switch docked anyway, but you get the ability to now play it on a larger screen. And also just sort of, sat at your desk using the controller, just a bit more relaxed. Or sat on your bed, sat on your sofa. You have that ability now to play it like that. So, it's a good thing. Obviously, you don't have the portability with it being on PC, but if you're someone that doesn't own a Switch and is wanting to play that game, then you now have the ability to do that, which I think is good. More games on more platforms is always a good thing.
Yeah, of course. So you can never really moan about that. I just like the fact that for the consoles at least, some of these games are starting to be more free, where it's starting to become more of a thing where older games and titles are being remastered onto newer consoles, and we're getting a chance to play some of these titles that we thought we'd never ever get to play, that weren't released within Western territories or were released exclusively on Xbox 360 or PS3 or GameCube or the Wii back in the day, which is now being released on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One or on PC, which seems to be the more popular option now. Which is saying that as well, The Last Remnant, that was an Xbox 360 and PC exclusive, is also out right now on the Switch, and that's another remastered game. We've got Dragon Quest Builders 2 as well. That's already out in Japan, and that's coming to the West. So we've got a bunch of games that are basically just Japanese titles that Western audiences have been screaming for years, and now they're finally going to get a release in the West. With that being said as well, another Dragon Quest game as well, Dragon Quest 11 S, Echoes of Elusive Age, the definitive edition, which is coming out on Switch, and I think it's been released on some other systems as well, by the looks of it.
Dragon Quest is already out on PC, Xbox, and PS4. This
it's
is
already
the
out.
definitive edition just for Switch.
Just for Switch. I think it's coming out on mobile as well. I really do think it's coming out on mobile.
I doubt this version will be out on mobile.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I highly doubt
this might not be that. I think it might be. No, that is another. I think some of the smaller Dragon Quest games, the old Dragon Quest games, those might be coming out for mobile. The more, the pixel versions.
Yeah, this is why I'm excited for this Dragon Quest to come to Switch. So I've held off getting Dragon Quest until it's coming to Switch because I knew it was coming. It's coming in fall this year, which is exciting. But you get the chance to play through with modern graphics or with pixel graphics as well, which I think is like really good, especially for something like a handheld game as well. Like now it's in handheld mode, you get that choice. Like for me, it's a no-brainer to pick up if you love JRPGs or anything sort of RPG based. Dragon Quest is one of the best sort of JRPGs that you can find, I think. And to have the ability just to make that quick switch between sort of nostalgic or modern at any point, I think it's a really nice touch.
Definitely. I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, there was just like a bunch of... Square just had a lot of like remasters and like little updates. So it's just going to be basically us just kind of discussing some of these like little announcements more and more, like Kingdom Hearts 3. That had a DLC trailer, which was pretty interesting. Still haven't had a chance to even play this title properly. And I know you haven't had a real chance to play this either. So what did you think about this as a whole?
What was that?
The Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC.
Oh, the DLC. I mean, I still haven't had a chance to play it yet either. Like, I was excited for the game, but I've just not had the time to play it. Come this summer, I will play it, and I was interested to find out that they actually are releasing DLC for it, to be honest, because I sort of thought that was the end of it. But apparently not. Apparently there is some DLC coming, so it does hold out hope that there could be more to come in the future from the Kingdom Hearts series as well still. And it gives me a little bit more hope for the future, that does.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Kingdom Hearts is one of their biggest titles and their biggest IPs, so for them to even think that they were just going to leave it would be really silly. And I'm sure that now they've seen, after so many years, that Kingdom Hearts is still a series that people want to play. I don't think that they will leave it for that many years now. We will see some more titles coming in the future for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, with that being said as well, we also seen more from Dying Light 2 as well within this, which was really surprising because I actually forgot that Dying Light is underneath Square Enix. Mm-hmm. To me, it looks more and more like Mirror's Edge. Like, yeah, more and more I see from it is it's so Mirror's Edge inspired. I thought that last Dying Light didn't really look like that.
I think this was the trailer that I said to you, because obviously this was announced in the Microsoft conference as well. But this was the trailer that I was on about when I said to you it looked very much like Mirror's Edge. It's basically a lot of parkour in this trailer. Like, most of the trailer's parkour. You get a bit of combat in there as well, but it's mainly a lot of parkour, running about, trying to run away from stuff. It looks interesting though. You know, it does lend itself to a game like this where you've got zombies and sort of people controlling the ground as well. Lends itself very easily to something like parkour. So it does look like an interesting game with a few interesting mechanics as well. And I must say as well, the environment does look very nice. And it looks like it's been designed with this mechanic in mind as well.
Yeah, it does look like, oh, okay, we're going to make sure that the level is set up in such a way where like the parkour will be so satisfying. You should be able to traverse the land easily without having to even think about using a vehicle or whatnot. Kind of a little bit like Assassin's Creed, where you kind of just travel across buildings, and it's just kind of like an easy way to travel across the city rather than trying to, use some type of like vehicle system, or maybe even deterring a person from using fast travel, because they find it's easy to travel across rooftops and you can find things out that way, and you can have a better view of the land that way. So yeah, Dying Light 2 also got an announcement for spring 2020 is when the game's going to come, which is quite a while away, because wasn't this announced last E3 or 2 E3s ago, where like they showed off quite a lot, and now this time around they haven't showed a lot of the game, which is making me a little bit concerned. Why would you show so much like last year, but this year you're showing off barely anything? I don't really know why.
Yeah, they showed off quite a lot of this last year, at last year's E3. So I sort of understand why they didn't show off too much this year, because they showed off a lot last year. But there's been a sort of pattern where a lot of people have showed off a lot last year, and then the game either hasn't appeared this year, or it's just appeared in a trailer and that's it, with like a release date. So I'm not sure. It is a bit confusing, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. An interesting game that was announced though. It's a small indie game. So the Square Enix Collective is like their indie program, and they showed off this game called Circuit Superstars, which is it's like a slight top-down racing game, but using realistic physics. By the sounds of it, the developers spoke about. Very much like older arcade style games, but also reminds me a little bit of something like Micro Machines or something like that.
Definitely like Micro Machines.
So there's definitely a gap in the market for this, and I think it could be quite good, but we'll have to wait and see. That is coming to consoles and PC in 2020, and I believe it's coming to the Switch as well. So yeah, that's probably like the key platform that it's probably going to be good on, that or PC.
Yeah, I thought it would have been good on mobile as well. I was surprised it wasn't announced for mobile, but I'm guessing maybe mobile in the future, because it seems like it would fit on there as well, quite easily. Yeah, as I said, a lot of things 2020. They also announced a brand new game as well called Outriders, which is a sci-fi like drop in, drop out co-op shooter. I like the fact that we're focusing a lot on co-op again and bringing back co-op games, because people want to play games with their friends, but we don't want to play Battle Royale all the time. Like, I want to just play a storyline through locally or online with my friend or my girlfriend or whatever. Like, you would want to play with, just with someone locally and online, and I think that element missing from games sometimes can be really disheartening, especially where it has the system in place where you're like, oh, if this just had co-op, it would be so much better. This is by the developer Bullet Can Fly and People Can Fly, that made Bulletstorm, sorry. And yeah, it's going to be out ambitious, and I think it's probably going to be a little bit crazy, because Bulletstorm was crazy, and that actually had a remaster as well that was quite well received. So yeah, I'm guessing this is giving them some new gusto to release this brand new sci-fi shooter. So yeah, Outriders, what did you think of the vague trailer? Because we didn't really get any gameplay once again, just that it's coming out summer 2020.
Yeah, the trailer was a bit vague for me. There wasn't too much going on, but you did sort of see that there's, I don't know, some sort of big monsters in there and something. So it looks interesting. It's people that have worked on Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment, which, it is good standing to create a game like this. If you have the co-op ability in it, like you've mentioned, then it could be an interesting game. But I don't really see it breaking any boundaries down for that genre. I think it's just going to be a game that comes out, and some people will play it. Most people will probably not know it's come out. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm not really quite sure what systems that this game is dropping on. It never really said what systems this is coming out on. So I'm assuming this would be more based upon probably the PC.
It's coming to PC and consoles, but no
PC
Switch.
and consoles. No Switch. Thought so. Another game as well that was announced was a game called Oninaki, which was like quite an interesting little game. I didn't really know what to think about it at first. It was just kind of like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't really know what to think about this. This seems like just a real. I just really couldn't figure out about the game. Like, why would I play this? I don't really know. I don't really know what kind of game this is. I don't know what kind of audience it's trying to go for. I felt like maybe the Ni no Kuni like audience, but not really. It just looks like a role-playing game, and I felt like it would do really well in Japan and stuff like that. But I don't know if it will have massive success in the West. Well, I could be wrong because Ni no Kuni did really well.
It has a
in the West, so
a very Zelda Breath of the Wild style art style to it.
Yeah, and surprisingly, that will be PS4, Switch, and Steam only. That game, so another game that is left out Xbox, and it's also interesting that they say Steam only, like as in like it will only be on Steam and no other launching services, which is very interesting. That they didn't just say available on PC, it specifically said Steam. So yeah, that is very interesting. I don't think we've really got much else than we've got also Final Fantasy XIV Online, Shadowbringers. Do we care about that?
It's a big expansion for it, isn't it? But I mean, I've not played Final Fantasy XIV Online in a long time. I played it like for a week through trial when it first came out, and that was about it. If you are interested in that, though, there is a big expansion for that coming called Shadowbringers, and there's a launch trailer that's online now. It's coming out on July 2nd. They also revealed that they're bringing 2 older JRPGs to the West for the first time, coming to consoles, PC, and mobile. So they're bringing, I think, Romance and Saga 3.
That looks like it's coming to like every single system that is out right now. PS4, PS Vita, Switch, Steam, Xbox One, Microsoft Store, App Store, Google Play Store. So yeah, that's the Romance and Saga. But the other one is only a Switch, PlayStation 4, and Steam App Store and Google Play Store exclusive. Like, it's not on Xbox, which is strange once again, and no PS Vita either. Like, so I wonder what the reason behind that is.
I don't know, because the second one looks more like it would be on all consoles compared to the first one. But
yeah,
I've never played any of these games or heard of them, so I can't comment too much about it.
Well, yeah, the Saga series is it's a very old game, but this is the first time it's ever been in the West. So this is a really big thing for people who have been probably playing this game with, like, you know, homebrewed versions of it with the English, and the text was redone by a team of people, and that's how they've been playing this game, or they've just been playing the Japanese version of the game, which is incredibly difficult. So this is very good for fans of this series. As I said, I don't really know much about it because it's an older title, but I'm sure it will be great for older fans of, you know, that used to have some of these older consoles and knew about some of these older games. Yeah, I'm trying to look down on the show notes. What else do we have? What have we missed?
There's another mobile game that's coming. So, Final Fantasy are bringing. So they, what game? So they had Brave Exvius, which is
you mean like game. That's the free to play one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then now bringing out a second standalone free to play mobile game, which is an RPG based on the Brave Exvius universe called War of the Visions. It looks very similar to something like a Fire Emblem sort of thing. There's different sort of factions and states. We didn't see too much, but it does look very similar to something like a Fire Emblem type. So if you're a fan of that series and Final Fantasy, then War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, a very long title, but that might be the game for you. It is going to be free to play on mobile, so there's no reason why you can't try it out.
Yeah, I never played any of those Final Fantasy games, but it did look really interesting, and I know the mobile audience is a real emerging market at the moment, and is very important for developers in order to get like money and new types of ways how to release games upon mobile devices. And it just allows for almost kind of like stress tests as well. Like, can we bring older titles of like this kind of magnitude to mobile devices as well? Which is what we've been seeing as a trend. Like, some of the older titles, like the older Final Fantasies, have been now released on the mobile. So it's just really, really cool. And hopefully that would be like a cool little thing for anyone who likes to play that kind of game on mobile. And they're also doing a Final Fantasy VIII remaster, which a lot of people have been asking for. As that was the last, I think that's the last remaster that they never did. They've done 10, they've done 10-2, they've done 7, but now they're doing 7, the remake. They've never done a remaster of Final Fantasy VIII. So this is the first time that we've Final Fantasy VIII remaster has been announced. So that is coming. I'm not sure when that is coming though.
It's coming out later this year is all they've said. So
later this year.
It could be at any point. Probably looking around, I don't know, November, December time. I'd probably say, if they say coming 2019 and there's no date, I'd say November, December time.
Okay, well, it's coming to all modern consoles and PCs. So that's going to be really, really cool. And we've got the last little big block, which I'm kind of really like in two minds about, because I don't know really what to think about it. Like, it was a bit overwhelming and it was a bit confusing, and I couldn't really figure out like how the game works. This is Marvel's Avengers. We finally got to see it, and I don't know. It's an original story that's not in the comics or the film universe. I really think they might have shot themselves in the foot there by not using any kind of like story that's already existing and creating a new story, because it just really creates disparity amongst fans. I know I understand it and I'll be fine with it, but some people will go out and buy this game expecting something else. And I think that's what the problem is sometimes with having IP like this. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint how can we get the perfect balance between people who read the comics and the people who only watch the films, and the people who just watch the cartoons or the animated shows, or then you got the people who just play the other Marvel games, or like, how do you get a perfect balance between all of that? I don't know.
I think this is how you get a perfect balance between it, by just having an original story.
I do
think that is the case.
I can see that, as long as the story is going to be living up to some of the stories that are, obviously told in the comics and in the cinematic universe movies. As I said before, I was just a little bit confused about the game. Like, is that just it? Like, do we just get into it? Is there objectives? Is it just an open world? Is it levels? I really wanted to know more about how the game actually was structured. It seemed just it was a very free game. Like, it looked amazing, don't get me wrong, but it just looked like the game was just you fighting, like using different Avengers, and I didn't know if you could switch between them or you had to stick with one Avenger for the entire mission, or I didn't really understand. But it looked good. and I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I just would like a bit more information. As I said, a lot of vagueness this E3, a lot of, we've been giving out lots of these long drawn out trailers, but we're not really giving you concrete, details about features, which I would have liked to maybe send a little bit more of. But so far, so good. Well, what did you think, Tom?
This game is coming out in 2020, May 15th. So there's still a long time left yet. I thought this game was really impressive. We've been waiting for gameplay for a long time now. The fact that you can be played solo or in co-op was
that was really cool
a good thing. Like up to 4 co-op as well. So, that's fantastic for people that want to play this game co-op. It's a game designed for co-op. Like the Avengers is something that you would like rely on co-op for. And then the fact that it's an original story, I don't mind that too much. I understand.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I understand why the characters are designed the way they are. You can't take something from the MCU or the comics and have that as your sole character, especially when it's going to be a live service. And if anything happens to any of those characters in a film, or they're not in that film anymore, or they change actors, it's just going to not make any sense. So having a game version of them just makes sense, really, for everything. Not to mention as well that they're going to be adding more heroes at no cost, because it's going to be a live service, they said. So they're going to add more stories, more heroes at no cost. Promise no loot boxes or anything like that. And then the voice cast as well is very good. So they've got Nolan North as Tony Stark, and then Troy Baker as Bruce Banner. Nolan North being from the Uncharted series. So they've put a lot of thought into this. It is a Marvel Game Studios game working in conjunction with Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal. So there's a lot of people working
and there's like another one as well. It's like Mixi Software or something like that as well. There's quite a few different developers all working together to make this game work, which is it kind of makes sense because the game does look really crazy. Like it does look like just you are playing an Avengers film. It does look really good,
and that's what they wanted to focus on. They said that they focused on making it as cinematic as possible to a degree. So that's where it might fall down because you don't get the gameplay as much. It's more cinematic, but even if it's an interactive movie, which it didn't look like, it did look like there was some good gameplay in there, but if there's interactive movie segments within it while you're playing co-op, then, we've seen a lot of interactive movies coming to the fore recently. This could be a really good sort of way for that to sort of come into gaming now, especially in co-op as well, watching and playing with your friends through a whole story like that with very recognizable characters. Definitely something that has been missing. Yeah,
exactly. I was really happy as well with what I was seeing from the gameplay. As I said, just wanted a little bit more details on some of the features and maybe how the game works, but May 15th, 2020, is quite far off, so we should see some more details, hopefully before the end of the year is out, that will probably get some of the more concrete details about the actual game nailed down. May 15th, 2020, Avengers games coming out. As I said, a lot of 2020s, and a lot of the games are dropping before E3. It's like they're trying to get all their last gen games out the way before the next gen comes. So, and that was Square Enix, really. Oh, they had like a little thing about Life is Strange 2, but it didn't really say anything about it. It didn't really announce anything. It just said Life is Strange 2 out now. So that was really it. With Square, no Tomb Raider, no Hitman. Well, Hitman's not part of Square no more, I don't think. No Tomb Raider, no Deus Ex. That's about it, really. It's no Tomb Raider, no Deus Ex. Crystal Dynamic. Who else did they work? What else did they do? I don't think they've got anything.
Crystal Dynamics are new, I think.
They're new. Okay, well, that's about it really for the Square Enix 2019 E3 presentation. I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you on the next E3 special.
Well, we've got to rate it first.
Oh shit, yeah, my bad. You just edit that part out now. Sorry. I'm gonna give that a
I'm gonna come in first.
I don't know. You go in first.
I'm gonna give it an 8. Now, I've given it an 8 because I was impressed with a lot of the games. So I was impressed with Avengers. Final Fantasy VII I'm really impressed with. Even though they took a long time speaking about it, I was very impressed with how the game looks and some of the features in the game as well. They give a really good deep dive into it, even if they talked for way too long. And then Dying Light 2, I like the trailer for that, the parkour style of the trailer. I really found it interesting. And then Dragon Quest as well. Dragon Quest coming to Switch is something I've been waiting for, and I know it was only a trailer, but just to see the trailer again and to know that it's coming out this fall again, just something else. And then also the fact that Octopath Traveler is coming to PC, and then just them releasing a lot of games to the West that are like Japan exclusives before that, and also just sort of remastering a lot of stuff and bringing it to newer consoles as well. I think that Square have done a really good job of that over the last few years, and it's probably gone a bit unnoticed, but you do tend to see, they've remastered most, if not all, the Final Fantasy games now that they wanted to. So if you're a fan of that franchise or Square franchises, then they're going to keep on supporting their games for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Go. Oh, one more big thing as well that we didn't even mention: Square Enix music. So all the back catalog for Final Fantasy soundtrack so far is available on nearly every single audio music streaming platform now, and I think the whole back catalog of Square Enix music will be available on all streaming services by the end of the year, which is really, really sick if you want to listen to your favorite game soundtracks. And I think more and more companies are starting to put game soundtracks on streaming services, so maybe keep an eye out for the playlist. You might hear some of your favorite game tunes on there, so yeah, should be pretty interesting. Off the strength of that, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I like the Final Fantasy announcement and the gameplay reveal and showing off Tifa gameplay and Barrett gameplay. I like the Square Enix music announcement. The remaster of Final Fantasy VIII. Very interested in the future of Kingdom Hearts. Octopath Traveler for PC was a really nice little reveal, and that the fact that it's out now already and we don't have to wait. A bunch of remasters and old games are being brought to new consoles, which is just like Square Enix is kind of like dedication in order to like allow their games to be played for a long time. As you said, like they support their games well after they've been released and try to give new lease of life to them. Square Enix did pretty well. Did it really well. So I give it a 7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And now I can do the actual real ending. So that was Square Enix E3 2019. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch us on the next show, for real this time. Thanks. See ya.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.